You ready?
Um,
Lay down.
so I'll tell you some of the story first.
Okay, I like that. You go
Once
right
upon
ahead.
a time, the end. Now get back to work!
Where'd you get that from?
You have to be good.
Get back to work.
Give me mine.
Okay.
Cookie.
Would you like a story, dear?
Yeah.
Okay, let me think one up.
Think of it now!
Once upon a time, there was a little blue button. And he was a happy button. And he got to ride all over the place. One day, he got to ride on the bus. The next day, he got to ride on a bicycle. And even once, just once, not more, he got to go all the way to the top of the Eiffel Tower. And then he went to different countries. And he saw different things and different people. One time, he even got to take a shower. And then another time, he swam in a pool. One day, many years later, he felt something. And all of a sudden, a little piece of string fell to the floor. And soon after that, he fell to the floor. And he couldn't move, and he sat there. And he wasn't sure what to do. And he ended up staying there until someone walked by and didn't know he was there and kind of scooted him with their shoe because their feet, just walking by. And oh, would you believe he started rolling all around the floor? But then suddenly, just like that, he fell down a little vent in the floor. And it was dark down there. He couldn't see much, but he could hear people. And the people that he heard changed. And time went on, and years went by. The little girl whose shirt he used to be attached to grew up and had kids of her own and moved out. And then the older people, her parents that were there, got much older. And one day they were gone. And that same little girl moved back in. But this time she had her own little girls. And the little girls would play. And then they had a dog. And then they had a cat. And then they had other pets. And then they grew. And the years went by. Eventually, the little button thought, boy, it sure would be nice to get out of here.
And
But
he was
have any
growing a
arms.
beard.
He didn't have any arms or legs or anything.
And he was growing a beard.
Suddenly, one day, he heard an awful, loud noise. It was the loudest thing he had ever heard, and he was actually a little bit scared. He couldn't figure out what was going on. And all of a sudden, boom, there was light everywhere. And the entire floor had been plucked up. And the place he was sitting in that vent was suddenly gone. And he fell beneath the house into the dirt. And there was no floor. And then a little girl came by. And she had a little bunny. And she saw this little button sitting on the ground. And she picked it up. She went and yelled, "Mom! Mom!" And her mom came running and she said, "You scared the bejesus out of me, child. I thought you were hurt with all this construction going on." And the little button thought, what is construction? At any rate, the little girl looked up at her mom and she said, "Look what I found." And her mom said, "Well, it looks like a button, dear." The little girl said, "No, it's not a button. It's Bun Bun's eye." You see, for many years, the original little girl had lost the eyeball of her little bunny, which was a button. And 2 generations later, so her children's children, 3 generations later, the little girl found what she didn't know. It was the same button, But it was the same bunny, handed down from daughter to granddaughter to granddaughter. And the mom took the button, looked at it, and said, "This looks like a pretty old button." And the little girl said, "Yeah, but it matches her other eye." And Mom said, "Why don't we sew that on?" So they did. And that little girl and that little button were the happiest things on the planet. The end.
And the button grew a beard.
And the button grew a beard. You're so funny. You want to say goodnight to your future self?